Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
Welcome back to the second half hour of the Patrick Riggins Show.
It makes me feel like a disco dance.
Yes. Demonstrating. We can play slow music on here as well. Well, I don't guess that's really that slow, but
That's
slower.
Slow disco.
Slow disco. So I guess you'd just move slowly.
You were the disco king back in the day, weren't you, Patrick?
Yeah.
White tux.
I don't think I could get into a disco back then. They would probably stop me at the door.
Wore the disco fever shirt.
Yeah.
Tucked into non-faded Jordache jeans with the little design on the back pocket.
Yeah, that's what, what's her name advertised?
Brooke Shields.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, I knew it was somebody. I knew it was one of my old girlfriends.
Now you're my age, so if you were doing anything back in disco, you were tugging on your mom's shirt tail.
They were stopping you at the door and you're a midget.
Mom, turn down the disco.
Yeah. My mother was not listening to disco.
Well, mine was.
Really? Yes. My mom was probably listening to Frank Sinatra.
Saturday Night Fever, 8-track, in the Lincoln Continental every time we went somewhere.
In the Lincoln Continental.
8-track.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get back to what we're doing here. Since everybody's saying, go on with it. Let's go.
Shut up.
Yeah, we'll get back in. I want to continue what we were talking about this last segment, which is kind of a conservative outreach. I want the conservatives in this audience to think about what your people who are the leaders of the conservative movement are saying, and do you agree with it? In this next clip I have here, and we're still on the Rush stuff, we're going to hear how marriage is almost as old as the earth itself.
Because is there great harm to a society when an age old, I mean as old as humanity itself, custom is corrupted? Any custom, any tradition that has demonstrated its usefulness, its primacy, over hundreds of thousands of years, is a freedom that would corrupt that actually good? Is it virtuous? It isn't.
So, to his thinking, marriage is why the human race is successful. Marriage is why this country is successful. Not freedom, not liberty. It's marriage. Something that has been around for, well, as Rush puts it, hundreds of thousands of years. Never mind the oldest known writing which actually records something other than numerals. That dates back to about 3,300 BC. So, and I'm sure it probably doesn't mention marriage at all. But Rush apparently has some knowledge, some type of confirmation that marriage has existed for hundreds of thousands of years, and governments from that early beginning, hundreds of thousands of years ago, organizational bodies always decreed how marriage was to be handled and had their noses in the private lives of their citizens or the people who live together in that area. He also equates having freedom to do what you want as corrupting marriage, corrupting the traditional thoughts of marriage, that of a man and a woman, when it doesn't. Freedom has nothing to do with marriage. Marriage is not a natural human right, whether you're married or not, and to whom you're to be married. Freedom has nothing to do with that. Just because you are born a human doesn't mean you are bestowed with marriage. But because you are born a human, it does mean you are born with freedom. Certain inalienable rights, as our founders put it. But here is a prominent conservative commentator arguing the downfall of society is precipitated on the fact that if you have unbound freedom, society is going to fall apart. All because you aren't going to live how he thinks you should. So I ask all you conservatives in this audience again, are you comfortable with one of your leaders, some would say the leader of your movement, speaking in this way, making these types of statements? How different is this attitude from a Democrat's, from a liberal's? Are they not on the same road to telling people what to do? Of course they are. The conservatives just feel like they are correct, and the liberals feel the same. When the truth of the matter is, neither of them have any business sticking their nose into other people's lives. So I ask again, are you conservatives comfortable with this line of thinking? This type of, as long as you're acting as we think you should, you're okay. Is this the way you want to live your life? Do you want people imposing their morality, their ideas of living on your life? Even more so, legislating their morality and ideas into law and then penalizing you for not living as they think you should. Is this okay with you? If not, you need to start looking into the Libertarian Party, or the very least, pulling your Republican Party out of the hands of those who think this way. Now, this thinking isn't limited to just Rush. Ann Coulter appeared on another conservative commentator show, Dennis Prager's, and we've got those clips. In this clip, both of them are dumbfounded that Rand Paul won the straw vote at last week's Conservative Political Action Conference. Now, this recording isn't so great. It was sent to me by a loyal listener of the show, so I hope you can hear it okay, but here's the first clip.
Well, Rand Paul won the vote by 2 points over Marco Rubio.
How did that happen, you're wondering?
Now, how did that happen? Well, listen up, Dennis and Ann, and I'll tell you, Marco Rubio is a big government guy. That's how. I have covered, or more accurately, uncovered and exposed his big government solutions for us all. Now, if you want to hear them, again, you can just pop over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show, and I've covered Mr. Rubio's hypocrisy a few weeks ago, but I also warned you about him all the way back last summer. Now, here's another clip from that interview.
Ron Paul used to win every year because these libertarian college kids, unlike libertarian adults like Richard Epstein and Gary Lawson, for example, they are just consumed by groupthink. They're really like liberals this way.
So, all these libertarian college kids are nothing but a bunch of idiots without an original thought in any of their heads. Sounds a lot like what Rush had to say as well.
Young people have this almost romantic attachment to civil rights, civil liberties, emancipating people from oppression, from liberty.
So the libertarians are a bunch of stupid young people who don't know any better. They don't realize that all these adults, all these older, more mature, or more intelligent people, these people know everything, and if you don't agree with them, well, then you're just immature or too stupid to realize how much better your life would be if you would live how these supposedly smart and worldly people wanted you to live. And Ann Coulter is berating these college libertarians for suffering from groupthink. How much more groupthink do you want among these conservative leaders? They accuse people of doing exactly what they do, and they wonder why they can't recapture the voters of this country. They sit and wonder why their base stays home. It's because the base doesn't agree with you people. I know what you conservatives in this audience are thinking. Oh, Patrick, Ann Coulter, Rush Limbaugh, along with all these other conservative leaders, they don't really look down on libertarians. Well, here's another clip from Ann on that same show.
This is what these many of the young libertarians are like, but don't worry, they're going to turn 16 and grow out of it.
So they're going to turn 16 and grow out of it. So if you think you should have the freedom to do what you want, as long as you aren't infringing on someone else's rights, you'll grow out of it. Yes, exactly, Tori. You're acting like a child and you need to grow up. Idiots. You need to realize there are people in this world smarter than you and more capable of running your life than you are. That's what she's saying. I'll ask again, are you conservatives comfortable with hearing your leaders speak this way? Do you agree with these positions? That freedom and liberty is a childlike fantasy. Here's Dennis Prager, that's the show Ann's on. This is what he said during that same interview.
They have far more left-wing positions than conservative positions.
Just as I noted before during the clips I was playing of Rush Limbaugh, these people see no difference between libertarians and the far left in this country. Let's listen to that clip again that I played earlier from Rush.
Freedom is taking on a whole new meaning, incorrectly and dangerously so, But this very broad definition of freedom that is used to, for example, justify gay marriage is being advanced not just by radical leftists, but by libertarians as well.
As you can see, there's a mad dash to associate anything libertarian with the far left in order to try and keep the conservative base from starting to look at the libertarians as people they have more in common with than their conservative leaders. And that's true, they do. The average conservative does have more in common with libertarians than they do with the Republican establishment, the Republican leaders, and yes, even the conservative leaders. All these people want to run your life. They think they all know better than you how you should be living. We're up on the last break of the Patrick Riggins Show. When we come back, we'll try to finish this up here. We got a couple more clips from Ann Coulter, and we'll cram Magpul moving out of Colorado in there as well. When we come back, be sure and join us. Don't miss a bit of this show this week.
I was searching